How to tell if you're a wantrepreneur. So, a wantrepreneur is anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur. Someone who has a goal in mind and thinks they're taking steps towards it, but aren't actually. So, it's someone who's like, I'm going to be a billionaire. Wait a minute, it sounds like me. Uh, Someone who has a goal, it's a big goal, like your mate who's like, I'm into business. He's been watching Andrew Tate shorts, and he's like, yeah, I want to be a millionaire, and then he's going out every day, and he's like not doing any steps. And I've got nothing wrong with you going out and hanging out with your mates. You could probably still do good, but just taking zero steps to becoming going closer to the goal. Yeah, that's a entrepreneur. That's pretty obvious as an entrepreneur. What's not so obvious is you, and it's me, because it's pretty hard to look at yourself clearly. So if there's a good skill, it's like conscientiousness. It's like your ability to recognize your own flaws and to improve upon them. That's what successful people do. They improve upon their flaws because they weren't flawless to begin with. They made shit buckets of mistakes, like shitloads of mistakes, and then they just fixed them. That's what they do. That's what it takes us to do. And we need to fix us being entrepreneurs. Now, I think I'm going to be a killer entrepreneur. And I think that because I can tell these mistakes. But that doesn't mean I don't act like a entrepreneur sometimes. You might do the same as well. Now, I have belief in you that if you're watching this and you're genuinely trying to take action, but sometimes get caught in this, that you can be successful. Just listen to me now. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to be a trap for you because you're going to feel like you're taking steps forward, but you're walking on a treadmill, so you're getting no closer to where you want to go. Yeah, you're on that treadmill, you're walking, but when you want to walk to the shops down the road, staying in your house on a treadmill, technically you're doing the right motion. It's just you're not on the right plane. It's like walking on a treadmill is being an entrepreneur. So how I noticed I was an entrepreneur. I sat down to do 4 hours of work because I was like, I've done no work this week. If I sit down and do 4 hours of work, I am going to be a week. I'll be 10 times better. And then I sat down on my computer right here and I went, what do I do? Like, I had no idea. What do I do? Like, there's nothing for me to do. And I thought, okay, let me watch a video by Iman Gaji. I'm sure he has a video on agency. And I was like, that's not that productive. I don't really need to do that. So I was like, okay, that's foolish. I won't do that. What else could I do? I didn't know. So what I did do was what I decided on doing was I started writing a business plan. And I thought, well, that's a bit stupid. Like, that's like the same. But it's not. Like, at some point, it will become a waste of time. But it is getting closer to where I want to go. A small plan is so I know what to do. Now, if I came up with a perfect, detailed, intricate 10-day, like spend 3 months preparing it, it'd be a waste of time because you can't see every flaw, or every mistake that's going to be made. Sometimes you got to get your goal, get a plan to get there, get some contingencies in. So if like this goes wrong, I'll do this and this and that, and you can be prepared for mistakes. But to look through the future into every single mistake and nitpick everything would just mean you wouldn't get started. And we want to start. Because when you start, like the ball's rolling, it can't be stopped. That's what you want. So, what to do? You're an entrepreneur now, like me. Well, what's the next steps to take? Well, what I'm going to do is for me, is going to establish a marketing agency. I'm going to do some free work. I'm going to do some free work so I can get better at what I do, so I can get some referrals, so I can get some testimonials, and do a great job, and then I can actually start selling it. I can start making some money. Now, what you can do, I'm going to tell you. Now, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're starting a card making business or you're starting a grass cutting business, but I'll tell you how I'll figure out what to do. It's do stuff that's going to make you money. Your goal is to make money, do stuff that gets you there. Okay, so that means if you're a hedge trimmer, it means go and cut some hedges. And you might go, I want to be a luxury hedge trimmer, and no one wants to do it. Say, hey, I want to be a luxury hedge trimmer. Can I trim your hedges? Or trimming hedges, like that's a fairly high confidence skill. Like if I get someone to show up and they want to cut my hedges, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be able to cut my hedges. So you might be able to do cheap work for a lot of people, get paid to do it, and do a really amazing job, and then they're going to tell their mates, and that's great. But something else that's real, like kind of a low trust, like not low trust, but they're less believing in your abilities to fulfill if you have no prior proof, is like copywriting. Like if I was like, say in my marketing agency, I don't say I wanted to hire a copywriter for my marketing agency and they had zero experience. Like I'd be a bit precarious trusting them to fulfill like a big client, wouldn't I? And the same regard, if I was like a product based business, I'd be like, I could spend money on them and I could just never get it back. So it's lower trust. So what I'm going to do then is you do the free work there. And it's Alex Ramos's value equation. It's dream outcome. So the dream outcome is the same. Like what they're gonna get from it. So me and the greatest copywriter in the world are both saying that we're gonna make them £1,000,000. But then beside that is the multiplication of the perceived likelihood of achievement. So if it's 100%, it's whatever that value is. And if it's like 0%, it's worthless. So like for the greatest copywriter, it's like 90% certain he's going to get that. For me, he's not going to get that, so it's zero. So it's completely invaluable. So I need to increase that perceived likelihood of achievement by getting better at it and getting other people to do that. But I can't do that if I charge other people to do that because they want to have. It's like you need work experience to get a job, but you need the job to get work experience. So what you do then is you do it for free, and that's how you get it. And that's kind of what I'm on now. But what I assume next is go below that is there's time delay and there's effort and sacrifice. And if you just have the time and you do it really easy, so my marketing agency, it's going to be basically you pay me, I get the job done, and I'm going to take zero time from you. Well, that's what I kind of want. That's like the ideal outcome. That's what my business should look like. Now, on its way to getting there, it might be more hands-on from the business owner, which will make it less valuable. But by the end, it's going to be, oh yeah, sign here, I'll get you a lead. Boom, boom, phone rings. And that's how you're working out. So you take a look at this value equation. It's dream outcome. That's the same. You don't need to worry about that. Maybe you do. Maybe you go, actually, this is a very shit thing. Like, the dream outcome is very small. Like, I'm going to write calligraphy notes. Like, that may be a good business, but the dream outcome is very low, so you'll have to do it loads. You might be able to make a premium calligraphy business card business. Maybe you would. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. Then there's perceived likelihood of achievement. How likely is it going to happen? Increase that by doing free work. Go below. Make it as hands-off as possible. Make sure that the business, if it's a service-based business, for business to business, I think about this from my marketing perspective. If I'm going to a client and they want to spend £5,000 and they want 50 grand's worth of value, so they have an average conversion rate of like 40%, and they have an average clientele value of like 2.5 grand LTV. So they want me to bring them in 20 clients at 40% conversion rate, which is like 2.5 times 50. They want me to get their phone ringing 50 times. So I need to do that. That's like the dream outcome, perceived likelihood of achievement. And I need to do that without them putting in any effort. And when you're doing it, to catch if you're being a wantrepreneur, see if you have any work to do. If you sit down and you've no work to do, you're a wantrepreneur. That's how I figured it out. And then if you realize that, take steps to make you more money. That's my video. If I was a bit more tired today, I am. I'm very tired. But that doesn't make my message any less valuable. If it wasn't as clear, sorry about that. I'll remake the video later date. But what I'm trying to say, to sum it all up, is if you're a wantrepreneur, sit down at your desk, do only important work. If you have none to do, sorry book out who? You're a wantrepreneur, that's you. And then if you are, make money. That's where your thoughts are. How do I make money? What are the steps that will make me money? And I'm not saying right now, like at least like long term making money. I respect that, like a little bit of a business plan, free work, long term money, long term think. But a little bit, I need to actually make money. Like I learned so much more about doing sales after I've learned, like been on a few calls than I would sitting here watching every Alex Hormozy video on sales. Like, oh yeah, oh. So get out there, try and make money, and then if you want to sell valuable products, look at that value equation. So on the top of the fraction is dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement. On the bottom of the fraction is effort and sacrifice, and then time delay. And that's my video for today. Hopefully the message was clear enough for you to understand and for you to do well. If it was, give me a like, give me a subscribe, watch some other stuff. They should also be valuable and a little less tiring.